Hello and welcome to our channel. Today we're going to be talking about the Eras tour.
Hello Taylor, thanks for coming.
It's been a success. Taylor announced on GMA that she's going on tour for the first time since 2018, so obviously everyone's excited. But I thought I'd answer a few questions I've seen people have and just kind of put all the information in one place if you're planning on going to the Eras tour and you've never seen Taylor before, or you've not been to a concert in a while, or just kind of want to know more information. So the opening acts for Taylor's tour do vary by date, and they include Paramore, Biba Doobie, sorry if I pronounced that wrong, I've not heard of them before, Phoebe Bridgers, obviously I've heard of her, Girl in Red, MUNA, Haim, Gail, Gracie Abrams and Owen. And you may recognise Owen because Owen was actually one of Taylor Swift's dancers on the Reputation tour, so it's really cool that he's now her opening act. Do vary by the date, so if you want to see a specific opening act, have a look on Taylor's website and you can see like who is performing where. People have asked, is the tour an international tour? She said it is going to be an international tour, but so far only the US dates have been announced. So the first leg of the tour is presumed to be in the United States, and it kind of looks like it's going to be in legs, so she's not going to kind of like intertwine it with European dates, just because it doesn't seem like she has enough time to get all the equipment to and from Europe. So it's probably going to be maybe 2024 before the UK dates. That is what a lot of people think, just because in August time, when the American leg finishes, usually UK stadiums are occupied with football. So it may be 2024 for UK dates and other international dates, because she most likely won't do arenas. Fingers crossed that's not the case, but it is looking like that's the case right now. But again, this is just all theory because we don't know when the international dates are even going to be announced and where and when they're going to be. But just know that they are coming. We can presume she'll go to Europe. Hopefully she'll do more of a tour like the Loverfest was meant to be, because she's meant to be going to quite a few different places in Europe rather than the UK and Ireland, but we can only hope. And then I presume she'll also do Asia and Australia. Presale. The presale is up now for the US dates, and it is for the US dates only. A lot of people have been like commenting on my TikTok like, oh, should I sign up for Verified Fan if I'm planning on going to a date in Europe? No. Basically, this Verified Fan, the current presale on Taylor's website, is just for these US dates. So if you're not planning to go to these US dates, don't bother with the Verified Fan, basically because it's not for international dates, it's specifically for these US dates. So with this Verified Fan, you're not guaranteed access to the pre-sale. You just kind of put your preference down and kind of hope for the best. It's to keep bots out, that's kind of their reasoning behind it, but bots still get in and sometimes fans don't get access to the pre-sale. But do not panic if you don't, because there's also the general sale as well. So with Verified Fan, you can put a preference for one date in particular, and then you can put like a couple of the dates that you'd also like to be kind of considered for. You can only apply for one date for one Ticketmaster account and maybe one mobile number, and you have to have a United States or a Canada mobile number in order to sign up. Sign up to the pre-sale until November the 9th, and tickets will go on sale for the pre-sale on November the 15th. As well as the Ticketmaster Verified Fan pre-sale, there is also the Capital One pre-sale. Now this one will be a little bit different, and you do have to have a Capital One card because you need to pay, I think, with that Capital One card. So with a lot of other Capital One things, people have just been kind of able to kind of put a random number in and it work, but with this one it is like that you'll actually need a Capital One account. So let's talk about ticket prices. Ticket prices, no specifics have been announced, but the general range has been announced. So they're going to start off at $49 each, and this is minus any fees. And then they're going to go all the way up to around $450. So this is just for the non-VIP tickets. This is just for basically everywhere in the stadium, but excluding VIP and excluding if there's any platinum tickets. Bear in mind that could impact the price. And then VIP starts at $199 and goes all the way up to $899. So if you want pit and you don't want to pay VIP, there is usually a very limited amount of tickets of pit and like close seats that aren't in the VIP that you can just buy normally. They are very, very limited. The majority of the time, if you want pit tickets and you want close, like seated standing tickets, you will need to get VIP. We can presume the higher end of VIP is most likely going to be pit, so the $899 is going to be pit, and then the higher end of the normal tickets, the $450, that is going to be pit. So pit is going to be quite expensive. Yeah, you can get these close tickets without having VIP, but I do want to stress that it is quite difficult, so bear that in mind. What does the seating actually look like? Because I said seated standing then, and I feel like some people might not have experienced that before. Basically, seated standing is where the whole pitch standing area, I don't know if they call it pitch standing in the US, but basically the whole floor area is seated standing, which basically means you're assigned a seat. It's just like if you're on the lower tier or the upper tier, you get assigned a seat, you sit in that specific seat. You don't really get to wander around from that seat. Obviously you can like move to and from your seat, but during the concert you really need to kind of stay in the seat, unless you go to barricade, and usually, not always, they will let you then go to barricade. It just kind of depends on the venue. No camping. A lot of people I've seen on TikTok and Twitter have been like, oh, I'm gonna camp for this many hours so I can be barricade for Taylor Swift. There is no point in camping for Taylor Swift. Like, the only place at her concerts that is general admission is the pit areas, but again, they are very small. So last time she had right snake pit, left snake pit, and center snake pit. This time we don't know what it'll be like. There could be 3 pits, there could be 2 pits. There could be 4, like, we don't know, but what you do know is that they will be quite small, so there's no real point in camping just because you get a good spot no matter where you are in the pit, just because it's so small, so don't worry too much. So the $49 tickets, they will most likely be the very top, and then obviously the prices will increase as you get further and further down. That's pretty much just how it works, kind of the general thing. VIP package worth it. I had the VIP package for the 1989 tour, but I didn't have it for the Reputation tour. For the 1989 tour, I paid in pounds, because obviously I'm in the UK. I paid £200, and we had seats at the bottom of the lower tier, and we got merch. So the merch that we actually received, I think we got a tour book, a like drinks cup, sunglasses and a bag, and all of this merch was actually available on the stands outside. There was one piece of exclusive merch which was a VIP lanyard, but that VIP lanyard doesn't get you anywhere, it's just kind of to look nice. So yeah, bear that in mind. The merch could be similar. I think it was quite similar for the Reputation tour. I think you were kind of getting the same merch pretty much. You were getting the merch you could buy on the stalls, but with the Rep VIP package you got this like really cool thing before like you went, and it was this big box that had kind of like a replica of the stage in it, which was quite cool. It was quite cool. The best part about VIP usually isn't what you get in terms of like merch, because usually the merch isn't exclusive. If the merch was exclusive, then that will be quite cool, but in the past it hasn't been. It's getting the best seats, because as I said, you can technically get pit tickets and closed tickets outside of VIP, but they are generally mainly reserved for VIP, so bear that in mind. Personally, I'm not sure if it's worth it. It's only really worth it if you're really want to be close, so you want those good tickets, but there's pros and cons of sitting basically anywhere at a Taylor Swift concert, and I'll get into them in a little bit. But yeah, it just depends what you want. Like, I'd say it is quite a lot. Like, if you're going up to the $900 and that's minus fees, that is quite a lot, and obviously these prices can still increase. It seems like Taylor won't do platinum ticket prices based on an article, but she may still do them, so we don't know for definite if she's doing them, but then ticket prices will increase quite a lot. As you may have seen for the Harry Styles concert, ticket prices increased a lot with the platinum tickets. With platinum tickets, that's not like VIP, you get absolutely nothing extra. It's basically Ticketmaster just inflating the prices, just because more people want the tickets and they know people will pay it. So yeah, I would advise staying away from Ticketmaster Platinum, just because it is just surge pricing. It's just putting tickets up for the sake of putting tickets up. Where should I sit for a Taylor Swift concert, and where do I get the best view at a Taylor Swift concert? Now, truthfully, and I'm being completely honest here, no matter where you are, you will have a good view. Like, there are pros and cons, don't get me wrong, to every single seat, and I will go through them now, but you get a good view anywhere, and to be honest, the best part is actually being in the stadium with Taylor and getting able to experience such a fantastic tour. So let's start with the bottom, go to the top. Pit tickets. It's what everyone wants. I think when people see pit tickets, they think of the Red Tour kind of pit, where basically you could put your hands on the stage, it was that close. It's unlikely it's going to be like that again, to be completely honest. It is most likely going to be like the Reputation Tour. Now, I had a right snake pit for the Reputation Tour, and it was fantastic because I was going to a couple of the dates. I think if I was only going to one date, I wouldn't do pit, and I would advise other people against it, to be completely honest. Simply because the distance between the stage and the pit is a lot. There is a big difference, and Taylor never came down and touched the people's hands in pit. Again, all this could change. She could, you know, things could be very different this time. We don't know for certain what the tour is going to look like, but bear in mind that she doesn't do that, so if you want to touch her hand, pit probably isn't the best place. Also, the stage at the Reputation Tour was very, very tall. So basically it was so tall that when you were in right snake pit or left snake pit, if she was on the left catwalk and you were in the right, you couldn't see her at all. So you could only really see her when she was on the catwalk on your side and on the stage bit on your side. But when she's on that far side, you can't see her at all. Which is kind of disappointing, obviously, because you do pay quite a lot for pit tickets. And then when she's on the B stage, nothing, you cannot see anything. Literally all you can see is the stage, which is disappointing. So if you're only planning on going to one concert, don't get pit. I just think you don't get the best experience out of it. If you like general admission, like obviously pit's quite good then, but yeah, it's just, personally I would advise against it, simply because you don't get to see the full kind of production, and when you're paying a lot of money you kind of want to see like the full show. That's just my opinion. Obviously other people's opinions will vary, but that is my personal opinion. So standing, so obviously now we're outside of pit, standing, similar kind of thing, so it depends what the stage looks like. My sister and my mum, they were, when I was in pit, they were behind the pit, and they had a similar issue with me as I did. So basically they couldn't see her when she was on that far side of the stage. And that's kind of the issue. It just depends what the stage is going to look like. Usually they release the seating plan beforehand, but if you are there and the stage is in the way again, you can't see. When you're closer to the back, like you can see the screens, which is good, and you can get very close to the B stage, which is good. So I personally advise going for the back of standing, because you don't get the best view of the front stage, but if she does go to the B stages, you can basically then be front row, and sometimes you can actually get closer, because with the B stages, those stages will lower down, and the gap between the B stage and the people was smaller. And also last time she walked through the crowd, again, I cannot guarantee she'll do this, so don't get mad at me if she doesn't, but when she walked through the crowd, you could then go up to barricade and touch her hand and get really, really close. So personally, if you're going for standing, I advise going for the back. You might not have the best view for the whole show, but you'll have a really, really good view for part of the show. Now, my personal favourite experience at the Reputation Tour was actually lower tier. I think lower tier is one of the best spots, if not the best spot to see her, especially for the Rep Tour, because basically there are so many things you miss when you're in the pit and when you're standing, because you can't see them as well. So one thing you might miss is the projections on the stage. The stage had like words on and kind of stuff on the stage, which was really cool, and when you're in pit you don't see that, and when you're standing you don't see that. There is also the aspect of the wristbands, so you may have seen Taylor Swift concert videos, they have wristbands on, everyone gets a wristband, it is free. When you go in they hand it to you, sometimes they say here's a gift from Taylor, but it depends on the venue and the people, what mood they're in, but it's quite cute when they say that. But yeah, you get a fantastic view of the wristbands on the lower and on the upper tier, and that is where you're going to get some of the best kind of videos of that. You know, I think you fully are immersed in the wristbands when you're like up, because you can see them more, and I think you just see the whole show from lower tier and upper tier. Obviously you're not as close, so if you're bothered about being close, go for standing, but if you're not as bothered about being like really close and you want to just experience like Taylor and like the show and appreciate it for what it is, definitely lower tier. Or upper tier, I just think you get the most fantastic view of those wristbands, I think, so that's my personal advice. Upper tier, kind of the same as lower tier, obviously you're just higher up, so if you're scared of heights, don't go for upper tier, because upper tier can be very high. I have been the literal top row of Wembley, and it is steep, and it is high, so bear that in mind. But yeah, again, you just get the most fantastic photos and videos, and memories, to be honest, of those wristbands just lighting up, and they just look fantastic, so yeah. That is my advice kind of on tickets. It just depends what you personally want. That is my advice, lower tier, upper tier. I just think you are getting great views, and those tickets are also usually easier to get, so there's less stress. And they're also cheaper, so yeah. what do I wear to a Taylor Swift concert? So I think with Harry Styles, I think just because his concert was so popular on TikTok, a lot of people like got their Shein outfits, you know, they all went out and they dressed up all like fancy and all kind of cool and stuff, and those outfits were really fun. But Taylor concerts are a little bit different. So Taylor Swift fans are weird. We are very, very weird people, and people will dress up in all sorts, from banana costumes to squirrels. I think there'll be a lot of squirrels, there'll be clocks, there'll be all sorts. So obviously there's no pressure. If you don't want to dress up, don't feel pressured to dress up, but people like dressing up. There is also this thing, and I'm always quite hesitant to mention this on my TikTok videos, about Club Red, Tea Party, Rep Room, basically because a lot of people get their hearts set on it and then come out of the concert disappointed. But basically Taylor does meet fans. She doesn't offer pay meet and greets, but she does meet fans in this thing after the show, and it varies what it's called. So it was originally Tea Party, then it was Club Red, then it was Loft 89, then it was Rep Room. I think it'd be quite cool now if it was called like The Vault, because it's the Eras tour, but we don't know what it's going to be called. And obviously I can't confirm that this will definitely happen, obviously, because COVID's happened now. Things are very different in the concert world. But basically her team, and sometimes even her mum, will come out and look for the most enthusiastic fans. You're not guaranteed this. Even if you are the most enthusiastic fan in there, you're not guaranteed to meet her. Don't go to that concert thinking, I'm dressed up in the most outrageous outfit, they are definitely going to spot me and pick me. For some people, they see them and they upgrade their tickets. They don't offer a meet and greet, and be grateful for that. You know, if you get any kind of upgrade like that, that is so cool. So be grateful for that. I've seen a lot of people come back from a concert like completely like heartbroken and like being like the concert was rubbish because the whole time they focused on meeting Taylor when they weren't guaranteed that. Focus on what you're guaranteed. A good night with Taylor Swift. Like, don't focus on something that's kind of like a complete privilege and like completely random. Just focus on the content. This kind of helped. I feel like these are a lot of like the questions people have asked, so I tried to answer them. If you have any other questions, I'm more than happy to do another video on this. I also do lots of TikToks about Taylor Swift, so make sure you check out my TikTok. I'll put it in the description below. And if you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe. That would be really, really cool. And check out my other Taylor Swift videos. I hope you love this. Have a great day, and I hope to see you at the Eras tour.